Hey, movie lovers, welcome back for another Anatomy of a Movie here at the Popcorn Talk Network. Today, we are getting in the holiday spirit as we talk about the latest iteration of The Grinch. We're not doing a full review, just more of an overall thoughts and a comparison to the rest. We couldn't rob you just like The Grinch, so stay tuned.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Anatomy of a Movie.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Grab your sleigh. We're going down to Whoville. I have Dimitri Panos.
Hey, movie fans. Phil.
I am Phil Svitek, and usually I give a long spiel about how there's spoilers and things like that, and we're going to kind of talk about it. But it's this version. If you're a longtime listener of this show, this is a much truncated version of it. If you're someone who's found this, we're basically going to do a regular style review, about 15 minutes. So without further ado, I guess, Dimitri.
Let's talk about the Grinch.
Yeah, what the Benedict Cumberbatch Grinch.
Grinch, yes.
Thoughts?
Going into it, I was so burned by the live action Grinch, which, let's face it, had some good pedigree behind it. Ron Howard directing and such, right? Yeah, Jim Carrey, a good cast, live action. What could go wrong? Well, a lot went wrong for me anyways in watching that. And I felt sort of burned because you see that movie and it's a bloated sort of mess, right? When the original television Christmastime special, which I grew up with, which we all grew up with, it's a half hour, right? Or less when you put in the commercials. And it gets so much in there within comedy and heart. You get it, half hour. So when they come out and they were going to make this animated Grinch, I was like going, oh, good God. Like, why? Why? Like, this is going to be 90 minutes, probably. It's Illumination. Okay, is it going to be bloated again? And are they going to forget the elements that make the original television specials? Well, there's a reason why people call it a classic. And the bottom line is I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed the voice acting. Benedict Cumberbatch is the Grinch. The movie did have heart. A little bit of this backstory going on. I enjoyed the movie. I walked out going, this is a decent movie. This is a good holiday season movie released at a good time going into Thanksgiving weekend, Christmas time, and it's the Grinch. And I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah. You know, I know a lot of people had trepidations about going to see it. I was on the fence. I very similarly am in the camp that you are. I did not enjoy The Grinch with Jim Carrey at all. It went for slapstick humor way too much rather than heart. And this one, while it had quote-unquote slapstick humor, I thought even the moments that it did have, it was all predicated on the notion of heart. Mm-hmm. Anytime, like, for example, the dog was involved,
Max,
yeah.
Great.
It came from a place of heart, and, the story's very simple, and I can't necessarily look at it from a child's perspective, but you always understood his pain. That was kind of always subtextually added in of why he hates Christmas, and in the end, little Susie Who, Cindy Lou Who.
Cindy Lou Who.
Always
Cindy Lou.
That's what I love about Dr. Seuss and hate about Dr. Seuss, these tongue twisters.
Rhymes.
Yeah. And I thought, speaking of her, I thought the way they handled her in particular, I thought was really well done, that her mom was overworked and she wanted to deliver something nice to her mom. Mm-hmm. What did you talk about, Cindy?
No, it's again, Cindy Lou Who, even in the Christmas special, and I want to talk about Max too, but she's the one that almost that precipitates the arc, the melting of the heart. Right? How can you take that away? And again, this is backstory going into this movie that didn't feel bloated. And that's what I really appreciated about this. I could get into the warmth and the heart of it, and I understood. So it fills things out more. And her character is always the cutest. And of course, how can you resist? How can even the Grinchiest person resist Cindy Lou Who? And And again, going back to the live action, I agree with you 100% with the slapstick comedy. It almost felt out of place and inhumanistic, right? Where in this, it's animated, you can get away with a little bit more. But thankfully to the Illumination people, they're smart enough, they know what to rein it in, and they know how to add heart. Even the earlier Despicable Me movies, even a movie about a villain has heart. And this, too, is a movie about a villain, Cindy Lou Who. I liked it. I liked her.
Well, even Bricklebaum, like, you know, the fact that he takes, by the end, no worries, he takes so much pride in the end. He's like, that's my best friend, the Grinch.
Yeah.
And he always had that joy for the Grinch. And the only thing, as far as the Grinch was concerned, he just hated all this happiness because he never was able to enjoy it.
Bricklebaum, Kenan Thompson, too. Voiced him great. Yeah, and I wanted to talk about Max because you mentioned Max, and Max, even in the half-hour Christmas classic television special, Max is actually the heart that the Grinch doesn't have. And because of that, always has some of the funniest scenes. What always sticks out to me in the television special is with the sled going down the mountain, and he ends up like going underneath the sled, and the Grinch can't find him, and he turns around and he just sees Max there, and he's like, "Hi." That's to me the heart, and he's like the cute dog, and they do a great job in this movie. Max is great; he's fantastic.
Yeah, and they really nurtured that bond for what it is. I mean, even when Max is being like a servant to the Grinch, you still could tell that there's a warmth to the Grinch and how he cares for Max.
Yes.
And, you know, that later kind of culminates when he gets his reindeer, right? Mm-hmm. Fred. And the fact that he lets Fred go, like there is, you see those moments of compassion within the Grinch. Mm-hmm. I think it's just the perfect way to kick off the holidays.
Yeah. Again, to your point, and again, when you have a half-hour show, how do you have to start him off really nasty, and then he turns. Now you get an hour-and-a-half movie, or just under. It's a good idea to show that the Grinch can care for somebody, that it's there within the character to do. It doesn't come out of left field. I feel that it ends up being more earned. And then, of course, when you're voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch, who did a really good job. Doing this, and his slapstick, and he was really able to hit the comedy timing for voicing this. I thought he did it really well. It would be fun to have watched him do this, and how many takes on certain lines he would have had to have done. But yeah, he does a good job. I agree. I think for the holiday season, for the families, it's a good take for Christmas.
Yeah, and ultimately, it not only shows that he can turn, but it stems from the backstory where the holiday is really about inviting good people into your lives, right. Obviously friends and family, but also, new friends and family that you have yet to meet, which was the Grinch, because, he came from an orphanage, didn't have that, and now he does, in essence, have a family.
Right. And I want to go back to the other fun thing about this is the stealing of Christmas. So he has like the James Bond gadgets, which were funny too. So it made the nasty comedic in a way. So I appreciated that too. It really juggled a lot. And like I said at the top, it was better than I could have expected. And I'm glad. I don't know what it was for you, but for me, it was like the second trailer. It was like some of the marketing material. It's like, like the first trailer was okay. It was the second trailer that had, when they're in the snow, like, this is the loudest snow ever. Yeah. Like, stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I'm sort of warming up to this movie, and I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I went and saw it.
Yeah, and I think what made it fun, there was a lot of kids in my audience, and I think their joy does infect you. I don't think you can help it. And I think they did a wonderful job of updating a lot of things. They kept to the spirit, but having Pharrell Williams as the narrator, and even we came in with the music at the intro for Mr. Grinch, like kind of updating that.
I get it.
It was just fun.
Yeah, and I get the update. For me, I mean, Boris Karloff. Boris Karloff is the narrator in The Grinch. Always will be. But I get the update. And again, this is going like that live action movie. It's one thing to have, like, look, sets in that movie, undeniably, they were great. They brought Whoville to life, right? But unlike it being a Tim Burton movie, who uses set design as part of his story. You know, Tim Burton, whose Dumbo trailer just dropped. And I swear, that 2.5-minute Dumbo trailer has more heart in it than that 2+ hour live action movie that came out. Makeup and everything, it looked like Whoville. And it seems like an obvious choice to turn into a live movie, but the screenplay just didn't work.
I don't know. Part of it, to be honest, I don't know if I want Whoville to be a live action set piece. To be honest, I don't know. Or if it was like it just felt too real. Even with like Dumbo and the other like Cinderella, there's something magical about them, and I don't know how to describe it other than that. It seems like a world that, even though there's a real texture to it, still seems beyond the realm of what is here. Like you almost have to go through Alice in Wonderland, her like looking glass to find it.
I gotcha.
Whereas that one, it looked like I would have to drive down to like a weird part of town and I could find it. And I'm sorry I'm being bashful, but I just, like you, I don't love it.
Well, you know, I mean, we can give it some bit of credit as being a live adaptation of a cartoon well before Disney latched onto the idea and started turning everything into live action. But it just didn't have the heart. It seemed to be too manufactured. And then Jim Carrey, who, you know, unless he has a strong director that knows when to say cut, stop the shtick, but sometimes the shtick went on too long. This is a very quick hour and a half.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is great for kids, for attention spans. It's colorful enough. The music is zippy and it's modern enough. That's what makes it. I think that's what makes this movie work.
Well, that, as far as you look at Rewatch Ability, and I think, you know, when you're with family on the holidays, like, you want to be able to watch a movie, but at the same time, I don't want to spend 2 hours or something like that. Like, let's enjoy the moment and let's move on to living life, in essence.
You're true, and there's going to be another animated feature coming out very soon that I've seen that is almost 2 hours, and I can tell you it's too long. The Grinch comes in at right. The pacing of it all works, and it's really salt and peppered with good comedy here, good heart here, comedy, heart. It really works for a Christmas movie. You know, the kids, there's nothing offensive. Like, I didn't find anything offensive, and whatever. It was just, it works.
Well, if you couldn't tell, we absolutely give this movie 2 thumbs up, whatever you want to sort of attribute to it. But certainly, if you haven't seen it, go see it. Also, normally with our other anatomies, we go way deeper. Because we're not doing that today, we encourage you to go into the comment section. We'll correspond with you there, what your thoughts and opinions were. Before we wrap up, I know this is very location-based, and I'd be very curious to know from other parts of the...
Marketing.
Yes. So I'd be very curious to know from other parts of the country how the marketing worked. But in Los Angeles, I thought it was some of the most brilliant marketing ever, where they took the Grinch, put up billboards, and basically were giving a middle finger to all of LA, and we were eating it up. Oh, you're in traffic. Good for you. Oh, you want to be an actor.
Right.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that. Yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up, because as I was driving here this morning, I came across the actor one, and I'm going, I wonder if, like, what else can you do? Like, if this were in Boston, like, what signs would they have? Like, oh, you spilled your Dunkin' Donuts in your lap? Too bad. Or something. Like, I wonder if they did localize it elsewhere in the country.
Yeah, for Boston, I think, just because of the Red Sox won, you think the Celtics are going to too now?
Right.
Like whatever it is, I don't know.
But it worked here, and it gave... Look, you're stuck in traffic. It gave people something to laugh at. And for me, that works. And I don't want to be LA-centric, but I wonder if they were clever enough to find certain idiosyncrasies within other big cities to cater the marketing to that. It was good marketing.
So please, for those of you, we're lucky enough that we have fans all over the country and sometimes other parts of the world.
And the world.
I'd be very curious how it did regionalize, Chicago, Boston, New York, San Francisco, or Berlin, Paris. I don't know. That's why you're the fans and we love you.
And how does Grinch, when did the Grinch come into your life?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because it's been around for a long time. It's been around for almost 50 years.
57 is the book.
Right, okay.
So, 51.
So, when did the Grinch come into your life? Did you grow up watching it on TV, or did you grow up watching it on VHS or DVD? Was the Ron Howard live action your first preview into the Grinch? Or this could be it.
Yeah.
For many parents who brought their kids. So they're very curious. They're each 3 different iterations, but I would go television, Christmas classic, number 1. This one's a good 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there you have it. That's our mini review of The Grinch. Like I said,
don't be a mean one.
Don't be a mean one. Do something nice for a loved one. At DMovies 1701 for Dimitri.
Thank you.
I'm at Phil Svitek. Thank you guys for joining us. Speaking of the holiday season, we've got a lot of anatomies. We're going to be zipping by. Man, oh man. Our schedule is crazy. We've got Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and Boy Erased.
Spider's Web.
A dragon tattoo story. See? I've already got too much on the brain. And a Boy Erased. And that's just today. So keep checking back in, and also don't be afraid to go back into the past. We have a couple of holiday movies like Bad Moms 2, the Christmas one,
right.
And Daddy's Home 2. That's a holiday-ish one. We did The Man Who Invented Christmas. So holiday movies.
We've done Nightmare Before Christmas.
It's a Halloween movie.
I think of it as one too.
All right. See you next time. Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.